So you're watching a video with Xray Group, and I've got Bernardo here.
Our goal is actually to bridge the gap between developers, business teams, and testers. You can and you should use Xray to test things in your own pace and based on your structure. It's just a matter of showing everything into a single place and joining the information together as much as possible. The question I got the most, what's next?
Should I press play? And off we go. And do you want to talk about this?
Yeah, of course. So this is the demo we're doing on our booth. We basically brought up all the main features and some new features coming up on the coming year, and we're showcasing how powerful Xray is.
Okay.
So our goal is actually to bridge the gap between developers, business teams, and testers. So we are a native test management solution inside Jira, and we allow and simplify all the testing activities to occur and to exist the same way you manage, again, project management activities or development activities.
Yeah, okay.
So you can bring your testing into your sprints, you can have visibility about readiness status, if you need to test, if you are all good, if you need to give more focus. We have some reporting as well, and that's what we're trying to showcase in the video and during the event.
Yeah, okay, cool.
So here we actually have a view that was showing into the sprint, and now we are defining actual steps to be taken by a tester whenever it's testing. In this case, it's a navigation to a newsletter page. So you define step by step your manual scope for your test, and then you link this test as being blocked by, in this case, Epic. So you have all the coordination you usually do between tickets within Jira. So we feel as native as possible. That's our goal, is to go by, help everyone doing whatever they are already doing, plus testing. This is all the integrations we have for automation frameworks like JUnit, TestNG, Selenium.
Cucumber.
Yeah, exactly. We also support Cucumber scenarios on our tests. You can do manual and automated, and these are like pipelines that you can trigger to run your automation frameworks and then ingest the results back into Xray via API.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, we have a slide just for that. Most of the time, we also push for tests to be organized in this test plan logic with like a logical scope of tests that you're going to create. And then it allows you to see an overall execution status, so you can see everything is ready. I still need to focus on test A, B, and C. Am I good to go with a release? Imagine you create like a regression test plan. And now what we are showing is actually the creation of an API key. Because with Xray Enterprise, you are able to generate and trigger automation pipelines directly from Xray. So you don't need to go into Jenkins or GitHub or GitLab. You do it directly from here. You just set up a connection. So we're also showing on how to manage and how to fetch the needed information to set it up. See, this is an example on the GitLab integration that we have. And actually, it speeds up your process by a lot, because you're doing everything inside Jira. There's no need for you to hop between apps, windows, wherever it's being used. We should be able to see it working slowly, but again, this is one of the tutorials we have. It's actually a pretty neat solution. We showcase a simpler version, just using Postman to push execution results. We're actually going to do a demo tomorrow for Enterprise where you're going to showcase this, because it's super simple. You have a results file from an automation framework, you pass it via API into Xray again, and into Jira, and we update the status for you, or we generate the tests that don't exist. But that were created into your actual automated tests methods and code that you have. So yeah, this is showcasing on how to use Jira automation, which has been featured and talked about a lot with Xray. So setting up some triggers based on status, so based on your workflow transitions mainly. And it is quite useful because testing is one of the milestones you need to check on every sprint, right, or all of your activities. So if you want to say that whenever a test plan is fully closed and ready to go, you have kind of a gold standard for your code, and you can then push it into production and deploy a new version live. And Jira helps us doing this with automation integrations or sending webhook requests into GitLab. So there's a myriad of possibilities that you can do here.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. It's really interesting. Again, more and more, our goal is to save time. Like allow teams to focus on what they need and reduce the amount of manual tasks they need to perform to achieve the desired goals from a quality standpoint, but also from a multi-team collaboration standpoint as well. Because testers can simply take a look and see, okay, this is good, but developers can see it as well, product owners as well, right? So it's for everyone.
Okay.
It's part of our mission.
I would want to ask questions, but I think I'll wreck the video demonstration. So you go on, and I'll try to remember my questions later.
Yeah. Now we're showing how to migrate from Excel, and we have this scenario here because most of the teams and even some of our customers, they're already adopting Xray, but they still have some cases where they're using Excel to track testing activities. To simplify that and to ease the onboarding, we have this test case importer, which will basically pick up a CSV and JSON file and upload the results back into Xray. So even if you're still not fully onboarded on Xray, you can still use Excel for a while, or you can pull everything you have on Excel and bring it back into Xray with our test case importer.
Okay.
Which is also helpful from other testing tools. So whenever you are transitioning from other test management solutions into us, you can also use this importer and bring some of the content in.
Yeah, okay.
In an easier manner, right?
Yeah.
Because you have an Excel or JSON file. It's interesting because we have a lot of customers. Everyone loves Xray, but you still have those old school testers that prefer to do everything on Excel.
Yeah. Okay.
But with this, at least you have visibility of everything together. So you don't need to worry that much about adoption. You can then do this small step, pull everything into Xray, and from a reporting standpoint, you will still report in one single solution, one single source of truth, without disrupting the whole testing environment that you have within your teams.
But Traceability, it's like, I don't know. So that already.
Yeah, so issues are imported. We are going to showcase them already created as tests with the test steps, all the actions, the expected results. So it's really helpful. Again, we don't want to disrupt. We want to be native and seamless to the best of our capability. Now, this is one of the new features that we're going to launch. It's AI-based test case generation. Okay. So you'll be able to, based on prompts, generate test cases with details simply from the requirement details that you have. So imagine right now we already have some requirements, but we're going to select a manual test to be created. We're going to say, okay, you do have some preconditions you need to consider. So imagine you need to have something set up on the database or logged in before you start testing. You give the prompt. In this case, we are going to work on a login functionality. Our AI will review your prompt.
Okay.
And you'll tell you, okay, for this prompt, you will need to generate all of these test cases with these details. It will allow you to review, of course. We really want to allow our customers to control AI hallucination, the output of the prompting. We don't want to be disruptive into the testing contents and testing suite that they have. So see, you have the successful login cases, the failed login attempt cases, and it's already showing what iterations you'll need to do to make sure that you assure quality. We're good. We're going to press review. And now it's the same Jira fields you're used to fill because Xray is a native experience. So summary, description for your test, but then we will also show you the test steps. So the actual testing activities you'll need to perform. And this is really useful because it allows you to reduce the amount of time you need generating all of these. Of course, you will also have the opportunity here to identify them with some labels to gain some control. And this is the test repository, a folder type structure that shows all your testing suite. And all of the new tests are shown here as AI marked because we still want to measure adoption, even from a customer standpoint, right? They might generate 1 million tests, but they want to keep control of them. Now moving to dashboard. So Atlassian is going to launch this. It's a new iteration of gadgets based on Teamwork Graph. Xray is one of the first partners to adopt it. We are working together with them. And what you're doing now is creating testing report charts on the new dashboards based on Xray data that will be present on Teamwork Graph. So it's now already part of the Teamwork Foundation, the Jira platform focus that Atlassian has. Yeah, and that's pretty much it.
Good.
So stop it here. Any question? Any?
Yeah, there's a lot of questions.
Yeah.
Okay, let's. And thank you so much for this.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. And you're obviously pretty knowledgeable about the software. Are you? You're not a coder.
No.
Okay. But how long have you been with Xray?
So I'm with Xray for 2 years now.
Okay.
I'm a product manager for Xray. And yeah, this is my job.
Yeah.
So this is what I do, what I breathe. I really like getting into all of these details, these new features, because testing is so crucial, even for us from an internal standpoint, that every time we're thinking about these new things to put out in the market, I immediately see how much value this is going to be added to the testers, but not only to them. Again, as I was said in the beginning, this is a joint effort between testers, developers, business teams, everyone. So there's no one-man army on the tester front. We need to provide options that will then solve problems for everyone.
So when we talk about this target group, in the old days where people were following a waterfall approach, there would be someone have an idea, and then someone would design it, and then someone would code it, and then someone would test it, and then it would be deployed.
Yeah.
And now, in a more agile world, we have a more interdisciplinary work where a coder needs to test stuff, where a product manager needs to test stuff, and we don't have those dedicated testers. But maybe we also have dedicated testers. How does Xray work in such diverse environments, and how do you give me in plain English without the interface? How do you do that?
So whenever you're working in Agile, supposedly you'll start having a really big backlog of work items to clean. Now, most of those activities will need to be tested, and you can even go to an extent where even content that was created by marketing teams, you want to test it out. So Xray adapts to whatever you need. So you can create your own custom
software?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be software. We have customers using Xray to test manufacturing lines, components, pharmaceutical customers that are using Xray to save results from their internal testing policies. So you can use it in any way you want. And since it's based on Jira, it also leverages Jira adaptability to all scenarios. So of course, as you said, we are not going step by step in a waterfall methodology, but you can and you should use Xray to test things in your own pace and based on your structure. So you can put test activities into your sprint based on the user stories and actually coding that is going to be happening sprint by sprint, or you can use Xray to test the output of a manufacturing line. So are any of the parts that I'm seeing as a quality assurance personnel, are they faulty? Are they okay? How can I register it? How can I give visibility? How can I keep standards up and I keep everyone happy? So Xray allows you to do that. It's fully customizable. You can create your own custom test types, your own fields to be filled in. So it's up to you and up to the teams.
Okay. So what I hear is it's absolutely possible to do that. Okay. Cucumber. Integration in test cases in development. Can you explain how that ties into Jira? So I understand that in a normal world with a dev component in Jira, I can create a branch on Bitbucket maybe or on GitHub, and then I code, and then I have a pull request, and all of these things can be seen in Jira. And now at some point I want to do testing. So I want to run a JUnit test or a Maven test or whatever. And what is Xray doing there? Are you reflecting the test results in the Jira issue, or what are you doing?
Yeah, we are doing precisely that. We are reflecting the results of whatever framework you're using, even if it's a custom one. So most of the frameworks will output a file with the results, right? So,
and you put it as a comment in the Jira?
Basically, we update the testing details whenever you are actually running the test. So imagine if you have a JUnit test that failed, the file with the result will show you some stack trace that you can see, and you can understand, okay, this failed here. So you can then follow up on that. You can even include attachments. So all of that is being consumed by Xray via our public APIs. And so regardless of what you're using, you will always be able to pull that information into us. So we don't want to control the frameworks. That's why we build it as agnostic as possible. For Cucumber, we allow you the definition of scenarios inside Xray. So you can map all of your scenarios, and then you'll export the file. Then whenever it's run, you have the results back, and it will show the definition based on what you already have from a testing standpoint. So again, it's just a matter of showing everything into a single place and joining the information together as much as possible.
Can you show us, or maybe in the video or on the screen, how can I see Xray in Jira?
Yeah, of course, I can show you. So this is Jira. Okay, it's already with a new UI, so if this is a novelty for some of the folks, it's still to us as well. So this is a sprint board, right? In here you don't see anything different, but you're already seeing a test plan from Xray inside. Okay. So if I open this test plan, which is a Jira issue type, we just customized it. Now you'll see Xray appearing here. So what I'm showing you right now is a list of tests for logins that all of them have a status because they were already executed, and we're giving you a glimpse of the overall execution status. Yeah. So again, but it's still inside the ticket. Okay, it's still inside what a generic Jira user is expected to face when he opens a Jira ticket, right? So there's no back and forth hopping between multiple applications. Now, one good example, since you were speaking about Cucumber, I can also show you one example. We just find it while it loads, sort by test type, because we should have here precondition, yeah, data-driven Cucumber scenario. So in this one, what you will see is actual definition of the test steps that will need to be run. So see, we're following we're using Gherkin to define the scenarios, but again, testing details, focus on test, but always connected with the requirements, the user story, what everyone needs to consume and to understand the scope of the project actually being worked on. So this is one of the examples. We also have reports inside that I can show you if you'd like, and maybe let's jump into those. I think it's always
so
Xray will appear now to the left on the global navigation, and you have reports like the Traceability one. This report will show you what I like to call the testing story. Okay, so it's understanding why things are failing. In this example, I have a requirement here, user story. As a guest, I can navigate to the storeroom page. Currently is marked as not okay because the tests are also marked as failed. So this means some of the test executions were failing, which is the case. And we even go one step above and we show you a defect that was found during the execution, the test run inside the execution, but you have full traceability about what happened. So part of the mission is also this, right? Giving visibility to all the teams why things are failing, because it's frustrating from a developer standpoint. You worked really hard on a sprint and you're ready to close, and out of the sudden you have a lot of problems. It's easier if we give visibility to everyone on why things are failing, because then you'll also be a lot faster on fixing them. So this is one example. Test coverage is also a good example because we'll show you all of your requirements, all of your user stories, tasks, which ones are covered and passed, which ones are not okay and you need to focus, which ones are still not run, and the ones that are uncovered.
Who are the people who buy Xray?
So, tough question. I would say that we have customers for all types of industries, from software development to aviation to the automotive industry to government industries. I would say the main driver would be QA leads or technical team leads or even product that want to showcase the status of quality of their projects, but you can also think it from another level, and maybe from a C-level standpoint or an executive standpoint, you want to start having more traceability about what was done, and make sure that you can push like quality standards within your board, within your functional leads on multiple teams. So it caters to all needs. Of course, from a day-to-day activity standpoint, it will help testers more, right? But it will enable most of the teams within a company.
What's the question that you got the most today?
The question I got the most, what's next? I think that's the main question. Are we adopting Teamwork Graph? Are we seeing Rovo? Are we working on bringing AI into Xray? Are we improving Xray? And it's yes. So almost, yeah, it's yes to all of them. So for the Atlassian part, we actually are leveraging this event, but we work with Atlassian together every day to bring the best out of Xray and Jira. The dashboards that I show you, so I did that with using Teamwork Graph. Now AI, we're launching a beta feature as I showed you. We also have something around predictive AI, so make sure that we allow our teams and testing teams to have decisions done earlier, so as fast as possible. And for extra enhancements, we know we are still not done. We have a lot more to build. So we have a roadmap already published on our public documentation for everyone to consult. And we'll be focusing on reporting, AI, performance.
Can you show this roadmap? I'm interested.
Yes. We start with now, which is the features we already released, right? So we have a new cluster for data residency focused on 2 million.
That's a public conference page, right?
Public conference page, everyone can access to it. You don't need to be logged in. Actually, I'm not. So what you're seeing is what you'd be seeing at home. So new cluster for Germany, exclusive area. We already shipped it. We improved our storage management capabilities, and we revamped our Get Started page just to have a smoother onboarding, right? So now we are working on JQL function support. So this is for cloud, of course. It's a much needed feature that we have on data center, which will allow you to query all the testing results that you have, all the details, build your own custom gadgets based on it as well. Later, again, still on reporting, we'll have usage monitor. You can consider usage monitor as your helper to make sure that you're using Xray properly. So it will show you anti-patterns. It will show you project metrics. So how much are you using Xray? Are you focusing more on automation, more on manual tests? Which projects has more tests? So measure adoption, so on and so forth. Then again, Atlassian topics like custom domain support, enhancing the dataset export for parameterization.
So we don't have to run through all of these. Atlassian announced that they will deprecate Atlassian Connect API points. That will affect an app like Xray severely. What are you planning to do to migrate to Forge? You will probably
we are already on that boat. So we already have the...
It's not on the list yet.
Yeah, it's not on the list because it's being worked on and we are going to do an update based on it. Our plan currently is we started creating some Forge modules and we're leveraging Connect to Forge for that. So Atlassian has an in-between, so it's not Connect, it's not Forge, it's something in the middle. That's the work we have been doing for this quarter, so until April. And now we are laying down the plan to fully go into Forge and to support it. It will be a big technical challenge.
But if customers ask us, Xray will be ready until the end of 2026?
That's the goal. That's the goal. We are working on having something until the end of 2026. Of course, we are still assessing with Atlassian because Forge by itself is still coming up with support for new things like data residency, and we have some specific points to validate, but that's a play for sure.
Cool. That's the last thing is something that we get asked by customers every now and then. But thank you so much for this overview.
Of course. Awesome. Really nice. Thank you for the opportunity, Mark.
Sure.
Bye-bye.